Welcome back. This is HDC Podcast. My name's Felix, and my guest of today episode is Josh. So, one of my dream is to have conversation with everyone in the world, if it's possible. And today I'm having one. So, guys, you're invited to be with us, quiet, and listen to this podcast. And I hope you guys like it. Give me that. Give me that. How's it going?
It's
That's
good.
nice. Feel the energy, bro. It's hot.
It's good, bro.
It's good.
Yeah.
How was your day, basically? Preparing to come.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think it was on my mind a bit, but I've done similar things before.
Yeah.
I used to make YouTube videos when I was a kid.
Is it?
Yeah, so did a lot of my friends would make them together and things like this. So I'm used to
be on camera
and all the equipment.
That's cool, bro. That's cool. Make the job easy.
Yeah. And I like podcasts, and it's just people talking, and I know I can talk, so it's alright. Yeah.
Great one. And yes, when you were doing like the podcast back then, when you were a kid, what was the topic? Just video?
Oh, it wasn't always podcasts. We would most of the time it would be just vlogging ourselves, doing whatever we were doing, just hanging out as kids, just recording the random strange conversations we have. Very embarrassing to watch them back now that I'm more grown up, to look back and
I got you,
see
bro.
the way we were acting so silly, but it's nice to have those memories,
Yeah.
And we've captured a moment in our lives, and I think that's cool.
That's okay, bro. I still feel embarrassed even now, because it's something that I like to do, but I understand for somehow I feel, is this really my voice when I'm listening to my voice? Yeah, when I'm seeing like, oh wow, it's not like that thing. But first of all, let me say again, welcome. I'm really appreciate to have you here. So my channel is HDC Podcast.
Yep.
And the thing that we like here as a first thing, the first question I ask to everyone who's come here is what you think about freedom of speech, or what is for you freedom of speech, and what you see in the world if we being applied to this or not.
Okay. Interesting question. I don't spend too much time thinking about political things.
Yeah.
But obviously I believe it is in a way correct that people should be allowed to say what they want to say and not feel pressured by external factors like a government or even social expectations of the things you have to say and the way that you should act. They try to fit you into a box, and I think it's important to be able to share ideas that are outside of the box and different to the norm. You've got to always challenge our current ways of thinking so that we can develop and learn more and become better as people,
Nice.
So, yeah. That's what I believe.
Yeah, that's great. And so what do you think in the world? We've been, the way you see it, of course, we've been used freedom of speech or nah? What you think? People in general.
Okay.
What you think? You feel the people in the world, all the people in the world, all on this country, people they are free? Or?
I think so. To compare the UK to America, they actually have laws for freedom of speech and the amendments and all that. We don't have that here. It is possible that you can get arrested for something that you say.
Mm-hmm.
There are harassment laws and things like this.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say that I disagree with that.
Yeah.
Because if you go out and start verbally abusing someone in the street, that's not a good thing.
Yes.
That's somebody who has a problem that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
But it's like anything. There are so many different aspects to it and different ways that you can have this freedom, and people can push it in ways that are good. People can do things that are bad with it. So on a case-by-case basis, but that's difficult to enforce on a large scale.
Yeah.
So in terms of policies, I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't have answers.
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's nice. So I've been seeing that's nice because you said about people that get arrested. because they was talking something on the street, they did something.
Yeah.
They would think like, okay, so apply my my freedom.
Yep.
And I'm have to talk, and they start talking, and I've been seeing even social media now. I've been seeing like police come around and say, oh, you disturbing other people, so if you don't stop, we're gonna need to tackle you. And one guy that I saw is Christian.
Okay.
He been preach in the street.
Okay. Yes.
And I saw a couple of times the police
really
take him. Yeah, because he was,
preaching.
Yeah.
Imagine that people have done for probably thousands of years.
Yeah. It's weird.
Yes, I think somebody should have any right to do that. When I go into the city center, I don't expect peace and quiet. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm in for. If anything, it makes it a more interesting experience if you're walking down the street and there's someone screaming something. As long as nobody's getting hurt, there shouldn't be a problem, and I think that should apply for all laws, really.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because that's a public space, right?
Yeah.
Is you will, if you go to the city center, it will be quiet. It will be weird.
Yeah.
Normally, that is the place where everyone's walking.
Yes.
It will
be the busiest place in the city, always.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then you will always say, unfortunately, this been happen, and that's why I've been asking, like, since like it is a freedom. What you think about this? When maybe tomorrow you will decide to go on the street, say whatever, so that you can expect from the people. But anyway, that's great, and it's good to have that answer from you. Before we start, because the main topic will be travel experience, because I want to hear more for that. But I would like to have some bit about your story, like how you've been raised.
Born in Peterborough, raised in Peterborough.
Yeah.
So throughout most of my childhood, I went to the same schools and everything. I wasn't moving around too much except from, holidays. It's not the most exciting of childhoods, I would say. There's not too much to be said about it. Over time, I can say that I am aware of the ways that I have grown. I think, everyone, obviously, you grow, you change as a person to become who you are. And not necessarily as a kid, but maybe starting around 16, I feel like I started to change as a person a bit more at a faster pace at that point, because I started, I realized where my passions lie in life, and I think that helped me with a vision of how I should live. I realized I have a lot of fun when I'm just outside, when I'm in nature. It makes me feel a certain type of way. It's calming, the energy is good.
Yes.
And I came to this realization, and since then I got more in these spaces. I hang around with friends because I know that's what I like.
Yeah.
And I started to get really into philosophy.
Wow.
Like researching, from the ancient Greeks, and then you have like Buddhism and things like this, and just learning that. And since then it's been a constant journey of learning different philosophical beliefs. You have Stoicism and Taoism, and even learning about religions. I find that very fascinating as well. I think there's there's a lot to learn there. I wouldn't describe myself as religious, but definitely spiritual in a bit of a broader way. There isn't one religious group that I can say that I am fully, I can conform to their way of being, but I love to learn about it, and the more I learn, I can find pieces from different places that resonate with me personally, and I can incorporate those ideas because they feel like the best way that I can live my life.
That's great, man.
So by finding more knowledge, I'm able to like build on myself and my character.
Yeah. That's really good, bro. Because if maybe there's many people who don't find themselves, like they didn't find like the path to follow. Even now, they just grow and they don't know what to do, and what to do, what to follow, what to believe.
Only getting worse, really. When
Yeah.
you look at the way that technology is going with social media, we have an entire generation of kids that are being raised on TikTok. Their attention spans are so short now, and they're so used to constant stimulation. They become so addicted to the dopamine hits when they're scrolling that everybody is so terrified of feeling bored
Yeah.
that whenever they're sat down with nothing to do, they're on their phone. You're waiting for the bus, you're on the phone. You're not even aware of your own surroundings and where you are and what's going on. It might not be the most interesting place in the world, but there's always something to take in. And I think people are less and less being present and living in the moment, and our phones are just sucking us away from that.
Yeah.
Always drawing our attention away.
Completely.
And yeah, to the point where we're almost lost. And when you don't have that time to sit by yourself and think, you don't have an opportunity to grow so much, really. You're not taking note of how you feel.
Sure.
You're not really analyzing your own life in any way. You're just numbing your mind with things that do nothing for you, really.
That yeah. I do see it that way as well. And I've been asking myself, like, is that good, bad? Because we've been saying, okay, the society is growing, the way we were living. I like the idea to analyze and be able to say, many people going that way.
Yeah.
Let me choose different way. Before, when we were a kid, young, whatever, we had the chance to choose what we can do, what we cannot do.
Yeah.
And other way, our parents, they couldn't afford too much to give us. So now everybody can have like this kind of toys, PlayStations, computers, everybody. I can't see, and kids says like, I don't have this, It look like, yes. So on all this show that they don't have choice, and they don't know how to make choices to say, I don't want this, I want this. Because if they will say, I don't want to have PlayStation, they will feel behind regarding all the kids. Because the conversation they're gonna have, it will be around that thing, and they don't gonna feel like, okay, I'm inside of that group. So before, your father didn't have money to afford, or you had a different way to play, different way to be with your mates. So that's on the end you had choices. Now it's look like you don't have choices, bro.
No.
Since you just grow up, you will find phones and internet, whatever, and everything will be that way. So in the end, you can't see and you can't survive with that thing. One thing that shows up was the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, everybody was in the house thinking, what am I gonna do now? What's weird.
Finally, time with nothing to do, so you get a almost look deeper into human nature in terms of how people responded to the pandemic. What were people doing when they didn't have these options of being able to go out, and all these things that they would spend their free time doing, they no longer can do. They're left with nothing but themselves. And I think if the technology we have was not so prevalent, then maybe people could have done better with themselves from it. And I don't say that people haven't, but I think a lot of people maybe got even deeper into the hole of being consumed by media and technology. And obviously, because of the pandemic, everyone was always wondering what's going on, what's happening next, what's the updates, and all of this. So constantly plugged in, reading the news, and I think it's just bad for our brains, almost, all this information.
Absolutely.
And especially with the media, there's always, you sound like a conspiracy theorist when you say that they have an agenda, but it is at least somewhat the truth. They have something that they're trying to tell you, and they want you to conform. And I think that's what happened with the whole pandemic, was to try and push their limits to see how much they could restrict us and how much we would just be obedient and let them do it. And it kind of worked for them quite well. So many people were vaccinated under false information because it wasn't out long enough to to really understand what was going on. At first, they told us if you were vaccinated, you will not be able to spread it. That's why I got vaccinated,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I personally, I believe I'm healthy enough that I can fight off the disease by myself.
Great.
But I don't want to pass that on to my vulnerable grandparents and
Of course.
all of this stuff. So I'll get it out of consideration for other people.
Yeah.
But then it turns out, even when you're vaccinated, you can still spread it. So what was the whole point in the first place?
Yeah.
Vaccinated
That
for
was
no
the
reason.
question.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe people just acquiescing with all that thing just because the government says like, we're gonna support you if
Yeah.
you stay at home. So people is like, okay, so that mean my first point is, if I'm gonna stay at home, how I'm gonna feed my family?
Yeah.
But the government has already covered that part. Says like, no worry, we're
Yeah.
gonna give you money, so you will be able to
Yep.
continue with your life, and you will stay at home. And people just acquiescing with that thing because they come on. If they already cover it, all the people just do what they do because they want to just feed their family.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, and they say that all done, and the people just acquiesce, and they just come out and say like, okay, let's take the patient from these guys. You can't travel, but if you want to, you need to.
That was another reason that I got vaccinated, was because I had plans to travel, like
Yeah.
So I got that thinking that I would need it. When the time came to it, I didn't even need to be vaccinated to travel. But
yeah,
that's what it is. I got
it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And yeah, so to jumping out now, the main topic.
Yes.
Traveling. I will tell you, the good thing that happened to me on pandemic was change mind about how I was so in the same place. So when the pandemic hit, I was thinking, yes, I'm not enjoying my life like on the way that says like, okay, let me go and see different places, different people, different areas, and that gave me that click. So now I'm thinking, okay, so I want to travel. I want to do. Recently, I had the longest traveling that I did. The longest trip I had was just this year.
Yes.
But because I changed mine.
Yes.
Because pandemic, of course, was the time where I had that click.
Yeah.
But I believe a lot of people, they would think it would be a good idea to travel. And I believe one of the reasons they don't do is just because they think it is expensive.
Yes.
Seeing you've been doing.
Yes.
And I can ask you, are you a rich man? Are you rich to do all this, or?
This is a quote that I'm going to butcher completely.
Yeah.
But it's from a song somewhere, a little clip. You asked me if I'm a rich man. You're talking about money. No, I am not a rich man. But for me, myself, I consider myself a rich man, rich with life and, happiness and friendship and all this blah, blah, blah. Great.
That's great. Because I'm just asking you this, because a lot of people say like, I can't move.
Yeah.
How can I move? Because I don't have money. They just think traveling is getting a plane, getting somewhere ever, and they want to feel rich, but they can't.
Yes.
And that's why I was asking, okay, you told me you've been traveling.
Yes.
Not from yesterday. You've been doing for a long time.
Yes.
Even maybe short journeys or even longer. And that's why I was like, if people they says like they can't do it because they don't have money, maybe you are. That's what I was thinking. The way you can explain from the start how you've been planning your journeys, and when you planning your journeys, how you do like you do some research to the place, you save some money, or you think if you don't have money you can't move.
Yeah.
What is it?
Okay, so I'll talk mainly about the one large trip that I did last year. 3 months driving through Europe. I've been saving since I started working. I was never doing any great paying job. I started off in accounting, which in the long run could have earned me a lot of money, but I was doing an apprenticeship for the time that I was there, which is very bad money. But I was still saving, living with my parents, so it was much easier for me to be able to save at the time.
Right.
I was young. And then after that, the pandemic hit. I lost my job in the accountancy, and I had to work at Amazon because it was the only job going, and I loved it.
Really?
Compared to sitting in an office, staring at a screen, sat down for 8 hours a day, barely talking to anybody, looking at spreadsheets on your computer, doing maths in your head. That was not fulfilling me. The warehouse, do I think Amazon is great? Like, it doesn't really matter about the job itself. It's the fact that it was physical and I was surrounded by people I could talk to.
Yes.
And that made it good. Anyway, this is a convoluted way to get to the point about traveling.
Yeah.
But so since then, I was just working in warehouses, saving money.
Yeah.
Not the best money in the world, but I was able to do it. I live quite frugally. I don't splash out my money on crazy expensive things. And I was saving without really knowing what my goal was. I didn't know what I was saving for. Was it a house? Was it this? But I saved up. I had. I'll give you all the details. It doesn't even matter really. I had £16,000 in my bank when I left for this trip.
16?
Yes.
Okay.
When I got back after the 3 months, I still had 10 left over. It cost me 6,000 for 3 months traveling through Europe, driving. I did 10,000 miles in my car. I reached 15 countries. I went to a music festival while I was out there. So many museums. I stayed in hostels, met a lot of friends. Yeah.
Wow. Who you with that time?
I left by myself in my car with the tent in my back, and I just drove into France without even knowing where I was going to spend my first night.
Come on. Wow, that's interesting, bro.
My first night there was a lay-by off the main road, and I saw there was a forest next to it. I park in the lay-by, and I camp in the forest the first night because it got late by the time, because I drove down all the way from England, crossed over the train, and then just next morning kept going.
But which destination you had? You didn't plan exactly, but which duration was?
Towards the start, I have a friend that lived near Paris.
Paris, yeah.
So I was going to visit them, but it wasn't going to be for a few days. But I would visit them, drive down, see them, spend the day in Paris, and then go back, and then just go drive to some woodlands and just camp there for the night. Very cheap. I spent a whole day exploring Paris, and I didn't pay a penny.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know, people say it's like Paris is an expensive city.
Yeah.
And one of the most, and we can put it in the list.
To be fair.
How it is, how you prepare yourself do you have a map?
Well,
places
I have Google Maps on my phone, that was it. But I had a rough idea of the route I was going to take through Europe, but with no specific destinations in mind. I played it each day as it came. There was a point when I was in Italy, and I'd driven to a beach somewhere, just spent the day on the beach, got in my car, just drove to a random street, slept in my car that night, woke up the next morning, took a look on the maps to find the next place to go. I'm like, Rome is 2 hours away, I'll go to Rome. And I drive to Rome, I book a hostel for 2 nights, and that's it. I'm in Rome. I had no idea even that morning that that's where I was going. But I went there.
Yeah.
I went to book 2 days. Ended up staying 5. I was there. I was having a good time. I met a lot of friends, so I decided to book another day. Okay, cool. The next night, it was getting the price was too much, but I wanted to stay. I won't say the name of the hostel I was staying at, but the people working there were very nice to me. And they said, you can go into the games room downstairs and sleep on the beanbags.
Oh, wow.
So night 4, that's where I was sleeping.
That's
in Rome.
That's great.
I was living there for free in the most beautiful city I've ever experienced. And then the next day, again, sleep in my car. And then finally I leave. After making loads of friends.
What? Okay, I wanna go more for this. One of the things that people as well, they've been postponing their trip.
Yes.
Is language barrier.
Okay, yeah, sure.
They've been thinking, oh, come on, how about if I'm gonna do alone?
Mm-hmm.
How I'm gonna survive?
Yeah,
How I'm
of
gonna
course.
who I have to talk to?
Yeah.
They don't feel like, you know,
Of course.
to
There's
approach.
anxiety
Yeah,
about it.
anxiety. Do you speak Italian?
No.
But just English?
Yeah, I tried to learn French
Yeah.
before I went.
Yeah.
For like months, I was using Duolingo and
Yeah.
all of this. I even got a membership for a little bit, but I can't. I do not consider myself a French speaker.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
terrible. But it was enough to learn the basics that I could get by. You know, all I needed to do. I spent the first month of that trip in France entirely by myself, entirely wild camping for a month straight.
What?
Yeah, by myself completely. Only really interacting with people when I would have to go to the shops to buy food.
Yes.
Very small interaction, very little amount of French I needed to know for that.
Wow.
People get very anxious. They think, "Wow, you're crazy. You did this thing. I'm too scared to do something like this."
Yeah.
A lot of people say that. A lot of people tell me,
I can do.
you're so lucky." But once you're there, I was not thinking too much about it. I just kept going without letting the doubts get into my mind. I let it pass. When you make it, when you touch the ground and you're in France, for example, you're there and you're fine. You're totally fine. You're just somewhere else. And that's okay. Have fun.
Wow.
You know? It's really not that big of a deal. It's only we build up anxiety in our own minds. We create stress that is just not necessary and isn't actually close to the reality of how it's going to be.
Yeah, that's that.
Because once you're there and you realize, oh, I'm fine, nothing's happening to me, because of course.
Yes.
It's just France.
Yes.
What's going to happen? Just be sure to drive on the other side of the road. I did get in trouble one time in a village because I was driving on the wrong side of the road and the police pulled me over.
Police?
Yeah.
Wow.
And they didn't really understand English. They got across the idea and I was like, yes, I understand.
Did you see your car plate?
I was like, sorry, I was on the wrong side and all of this, and then they just let me go. But yeah.
Wow. That's cool, bro. That's cool. So, okay, back to that experience that you had in Rome, right? Yes. Do you think what happened to they decide to let you sleep there? What do you tell them?
Most people are nice, but you have to be nice as well. You just have to. I think it's very, very important to treat all people with kindness, even people that are mean to you. Give them kindness back, and instead of getting upset about it, and okay, so this is like a Buddhism belief, right?
Yeah.
Where there are two ways that you can react when somebody puts negativity on towards you. Somebody does something bad to you. You can be solid, and that negativity will come to you and it will reflect off of you. And you spread that negativity because it happened to you. You feel like now you need to do something that is similar. Or you could be clear and you can let it pass through you, disappear. As long as you stay in control of your own mind, don't let somebody else's thing, whatever it is they do, affect how you feel. You continue to be positive, and that's it. There's less negativity in the world. You just have to let it pass through you.
Yeah.
Don't let it infiltrate your mind, make you all upset about things. You have to be kind. And to go back to what you were saying, I believe this attitude towards life can get you very far. You have to be friendly with people.
True.
And it wasn't because I didn't even ask them to let me stay or anything like this.
Yeah.
They offered because I was friends with them. I was talking with them. And then I was explaining my situation, how I didn't really want to pay for another night, so I will have to go in the evening. And they were like, no, we would like you to stay. So, and then I said very, quietly, if you want to go stay here, you can.
About your experience in life so far, do you think we have more bad people in the world or good people in the world?
without a doubt, more good people.
More good people.
Without a doubt. The majority of people. I have met a lot of people, and I would like to think that I'm good at reading people, and you can have a brief conversation with someone and kind of understand how they are.
Them, yeah.
Even just seeing into their eyes, you can tell if somebody has kindness in them, and most people do. I think sometimes people would probably give you the other answer, say that more people are bad, but I think it's just the bad people make a bit more noise.
Oh wow, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's they cause more of a theme, so you notice it more. But one person doing something crazy and terrible, meanwhile you have thousands of people in the background you're not paying attention to. And I think the media, to go back to that, makes it so much worse, because all news stories are negative. They're spreading negativity.
Yeah.
They want to keep you fearful of the world around you, because the more scared you are, the more reliant you will become on the government and these powers and the media. It's all the same thing. The more reliant you are, the more control they can have, because they are keeping you scared.
Yes.
Don't be scared. Go out. Do that thing that you want to do. Fuck the social expectations. Fuck what you think that people think you should do.
Yes.
You know yourself. You should know yourself at very least. Maybe spend some time alone if you don't.
Know yourself is one of the reasons as well that people can't go away from where they are.
Yes.
Because they don't know if they're capable to survive one night in random place in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been thinking, man, forget about it. If my mom doesn't going to be my side, it's gone. So, and they think that way, and this is one of the reason. And to know yourself, honestly, I just came from religion family. Yes. I'm not religious. I can't say I'm not a religious person, but I like the idea of the religions. That idea that says like all we came from the same place. We are all humans, brothers. I like the idea,
of course,
and many others. But that was the one I appreciate most. It's like, oh wow, yeah. So if I join this group, they feels that they will accept me. It feels like yes, I'm part of that family. I like the idea, but I'm not practice. I'm not do. But and I think this come from the family that's divided in different kind of religions. It make me think.
Yeah.
What is that reason? And then that helps me to go, think more in life, and then I start understand myself how I am.
Yes.
But other people, they don't have that chance.
No, not everyone.
Yeah, not everyone. How you think it will be the first way that someone can start to know themselves?
Like I said earlier, spend time by yourself. Definitely. Put the phone down for like 5 goddamn minutes, please. Because you need to feel bored. You need to experience boredom. You need to see where, in that time, where is your mind going? What is your subconscious trying to tell you?
Yeah.
What is bothering in your life? How do you feel? What does just think about things? Just observe the world around you. Be present.
Yeah.
Take account of what different things make you feel when you're in different places. If you're in a club and it's like busy and the music's loud and you're drinking with friends, are you there because this is fulfilling your life, or are you there because this is just what people do?
Cover, yeah. You think okay, so I'm going this way. If something happen, what I'm gonna do? Or you just...
I had no plan.
No plan at all.
Every day was a total new adventure of where am I gonna go? What am I gonna do? What's the direction?
Yeah.
Like I didn't know where I was gonna end up or what was going to happen, but I needed to be strong-headed, because you have to react, because you can't predict.
Yes.
That's the thing. So much happened to me when I was out there. So many things to get in my way. So many things that not to big myself up too much, but I feel like most people would have handled very badly.
Bad
Maybe would have, you know,
situations. Yeah.
gone back home or all of these things because my car broke multiple times. My car alone went through 3 tires, 2 wheels, an exhaust, and a window.
What?
Yes. So one time I was in Belgium. My
Yeah.
tire popped, and the other one was totally like worn out because I've been doing so much driving.
Yeah.
Like an insane amount of driving. So the tires were worn out and they exploded on like a
Shit.
pothole or something. So I parked up at like an Aldi supermarket. I had breakdown cover, European breakdown cover.
Yeah.
That was a very important thing to do because I was driving in Europe. They were able to get a pickup truck out to take my car to a garage where they could change the tires. These people speak French in Belgium. Like I said, I don't really. So again, communication errors, but we made it work. Google Translate. They know a little bit of English. I know a little bit of French. We were able to make it work. In the end, I kept going. That was it. The biggest hurdle that I experienced when I was out there was related to the window. It was just, I had a friend who came out to visit me for a week. He flew to Nice in south of France.
From here?
Yes. A friend from Peterborough flew down to meet me. And we were in Nice. I parked up my car in like an underground parking garage.
Yeah.
We go out, we explore the city for like 2 hours. We get back and my front window is smashed in. And my backpack, which had all of my camping gear in it, and his bag that had all of his clothes, almost everything that he brought with him, stolen from this underground car park.
Where? That's
France.
in France.
Picture like Queensgate, but even more enclosed.
Yeah.
Even more security.
No cameras on it?
No camera that had view of my car. I went to the police straight away. They said, sorry, we're busy. Come back at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Oh, really?
We didn't have a plan to stay in Nice at all that first night. We were going to move out and go camping straight away.
Yeah.
Obviously, all of our camping equipment is now gone.
Shit.
And we're out in the middle of, you know, another country, nowhere to go, no equipment. Most people, I think, would have got incredibly stressed in a situation like this. No idea what to do.
Yes.
What am I going to do? Break down? Oh my gosh, poor me. How could this happen? But that would not have helped. Not even a little bit. Being worried, being stressed, it's an unnecessary response.
I'm thinking your face, how was? How do you...
Do you want to know the reality?
Yeah.
I was a little bit excited. I was like, this is an adventure, you know. I have a challenge in front of me.
And then you will think, okay, so now I need to show myself how I can deal with this.
Yeah, God was testing me to see if I could persevere, and I did. I went out, my friend, we booked a hotel for one night. Some car garage, they couldn't replace my window. So I spent 4 days with just a plastic sheet over my window instead of glass. We had the hotel the first night, and then the next day we go out shopping. We buy some camping gear.
Again,
we get all our stuff. This is why you need to budget for emergencies.
Yes.
But we had the budget, and I got to, you know, splash out and get some a bit fancier equipment. You know, upgrade. Why not? While in this situation, so we do that. We get our gear, and then we're back out. We keep going. And that's it. And we had an amazing time. Hiking, climbing mountains.
How beautiful. That's the thing, bro. In that situation, how you call amazing times. That's you, bro. It's something that you have, and we can't take that one from you.
No.
And other people, the way you said, they will be factored.
Yeah. There was one moment. It lasted maybe 5-6 seconds. Where I was like, am I going to have to call it and go back and go home?
Yeah.
6 seconds. And I was like, fuck this. Let's keep going.
Shit.
The party don't stop.
The party don't stop. And, what do you wish to those people, bro, who did that?
I wish them the best. they are obviously not in a good position in their lives where they have to do these things, because it's a risky thing to do,
Yeah.
to go out of the way to do this. Whatever their issue was, I think it's important to have empathy for all people, no matter what, especially people that do bad things.
Yeah.
Because if somebody does bad things and it makes you react negatively back towards them, it's only going to make them worse.
Was yeah.
If you treat everyone with kindness, eventually, little by little, if you're relentlessly kind and nice to these bad people, you'll get in, a little bit at a time. You'll wear them down, break that shell, and maybe you can only hope one day, they will learn and they will become better.
Sure.
But to get upset about it, what would be the point? To be vengeful about it, to think, oh, I hope this happens to them. I hope. No,
Wow.
let them live that. Like it's no longer affecting me now. It is done. What is done is done. I can only be present and deal with what is right in front of me.
Yeah, I think like I'm gonna apply that for me as well. Who's like, go in and think more that way, because on the end you are here.
Exactly. I was fine. I was not hurt.
Yes.
It was just things.
Yeah.
I was fine.
Yeah.
I kept my valuables on me because I'm not a total fool.
Yeah.
Not totally, at least.
Yeah.
So they didn't take, money or anything like this. It was equipment. It had monetary value, but it means nothing. Really. It's just things.
Yeah.
I was totally fine, untouched, unscathed. They did not hurt me, so
yeah.
Why do I even care?
Yeah. Where is your car now?
Where is my car?
Yeah.
You saw me arriving.
This is the same car?
That's the same car.
Okay, no. Yeah. So how you replace it? So you went somewhere, they replaced it like the window?
Yeah, I had to drive to another city.
Yeah.
It was like, it took days to get there. And they fixed it. It was not cheap, but I did eventually get it replaced somewhere. They were able to help me. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So where your family's goes in that journey, when you decide to leave the country, how your dad, your mom, how they react?
They were not so supportive. They thought it was, it's understandable from a parent's perspective. They think it's crazy, extreme.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to waste all your money, you're going to hurt yourself, But it was good, and I think spending time away from them once I left for those few months, and just sometimes speaking to them on the phone, and always have something interesting to tell them about where I've been and what I've done. But that little bit of distance, I think, actually helped my relationship with my parents, because living with each other, sometimes you clash in these things, but a little bit of separation and being able to have conversations that were like mainly just positive rather than,
for example, you go back home and tell them, I decide I'm going to traveling tomorrow, and what you think they will be, oh, here we go again, we're gonna like,
that's exactly it.
Yeah. They will think, oh my goodness. So basically they're not used to it, with that idea that you're gonna leave alone for some.
Sometimes if I don't see them, I forget to tell them that I have these plans, and then I go, and then they call me the next day and they're like, where are you? And I'm like, oh shit, sorry, I'm in Lithuania.
I like that. How the funniest? You didn't have the most funniest. You say, fucking hell, that was fun. Which one? Where and where?
I had a really awesome day with my friend, the one that came to visit me.
Yeah.
It was towards the end of the week that he was staying with us, and we went to climb a mountain together. We were in north of Italy in the Alps, and it was intense, but a lot of fun. On the way up, there was a abandoned village made like very, very like old, made of like stones, but totally nobody there, just like all the way up this mountain.
Wow.
And there was another house a bit separate before that, and at this house there was a tap with running water. So my friend, he topped up his water bottle, had a bit of a drink, and realized, oh, there's something floating in the water. This is not a clean water source. Which meant, because he's now contaminated his whole bottle, he has to pour it all away.
Yeah.
And we're just barely started this journey up this massive mountain, and now we only have the water that I carried.
You got,
So the mission from then was to get as high as possible, to get to a point where we could follow the stream so that we could fill our bottles up, because there are waterfalls on the mountains and all of this. If you follow it to the top, it was and we did it. We found it the cleanest, freshest water you could ever drink, fresh from the stream at the top of the mountain. It was amazing. Yes. And the sense of relief as well, because we're worried about rationing our water.
And they don't.
But once we got it, we were fine, relaxed, and and then on the way down, we camp. So we go up, and then we come back down to this village that was about halfway. And we're camping there. We're just chilling. We're settling down now after a long hike, listening to music and all of this. And I see something next to my friend's foot, like a little light on the floor. Oh, I was confused. I go take a closer look, and I see another one near it, in the air. And then suddenly, they start appearing, and they're moving. Fireflies.
Oh,
yes.
Now I was scared, bro. I was scared, thinking, what the fuck? What did you see? Wow.
Fireflies. Yeah, so light up bugs flying through the air, floating through, and this was as it was getting darker, and to be out here on this mountain in the middle of nowhere, these fireflies around you, the stars in the sky, the cities in the very distance, the little lights from there, 3 different sources of these like sparkly lights all around us. And like I said, we were listening to music. So we were on this mountain, dancing, surrounded by fireflies, listening to the song Fireflies by Owl City. I don't know if you know it, but
I heard about it.
I don't think many people in the world have had an experience quite like that. Listening to a song about
just
fireflies.
You and your mate.
Just me and my mate. After hiking a mountain, camping up there in Italy, dancing to the song Fireflies, surrounded by actual real life fireflies. It was so funny. It was amazing.
Good. When you decide to say, okay, it's enough, let me go back, what happened?
I was simply not allowed to stay out longer. There is like a Schengen agreement among a bunch of countries in Europe where you can travel freely across the borders, but there's a limit of 90 days you can spend. And that was it. My 90 days was up. If it wasn't for that, I would have continued. For sure. Yeah,
so you will. So let's go think that you spend old money that you had. What was the plan?
If I spent, it was never going to happen. I knew when I left that I wouldn't use it all. And it was very good, especially at the start. I mean, obviously the biggest expense over the whole thing was the petrol.
Yeah, the petrol is the thing.
Of course. But besides that, for the vast majority of the time, I was cooking my own food on a gas stove using
because you have old
in my car I had a gas stove, like I could fry and cook things. So, and I'd use very basic ingredients. I'd just use vegetables and pasta and mushrooms and beans and all this stuff, and just cook. I considering the limitations of the fact that I am making a meal in a forest, I cook some pretty good food out there.
That's nice, man.
Yeah,
that's nice.
And it's so cheap because basic ingredients.
Yeah,
and I'm camping. I don't have to pay
for accommodations and And how about the other thing that I think that's holding people to traveling is the fear that they have to find someone can do bad thing to them.
People get scared about someone randomly being in the forest.
Alone.
I am that person. How many people are as crazy as me to be out in the middle of nowhere at night? That's just a crazy thing to
That's
expect.
the good point. That's the good point.
I am that guy.
If I was like walking there, passing by, and I see someone there alone, cooking, I was like, oh shit, I'm not going there. Let me go back. That's a crazy motherfuckers there. I don't want to go.
It did happen a couple of times. There was this one place in France where I spent 11 days in a row camping because it was so perfect. It was in a valley. It was very hot, but it was cool because of the valley and the trees. The floor was like moss and very soft, pine cones everywhere, and this lovely river right next to where I was camping that led to a waterfall further down. And it was quite a walk to get there. I had to cross the river to get to where I was camping. It was like a perfect location for it. So I was there. I ended up just staying there for a long time, just reading, going for walks, meditating, just being alone. But there was one time when other people, because it's fairly popular for people to come to see the waterfall and stuff. So sometimes people would follow the trail further and get close to my camp. And there was one time when I was there when people actually come, and I had just finished washing myself in the river. So I was there just in a towel, and I had like a washing line with like clothes hanging up and everything, my little tent there, a whole setup. I had like a camping chair in the middle of the forest, very, and these people just I'm like, bonjour. Towel around my waist.
What they said?
They said bonjour, and they kept walking.
About, do you have a consider like to have a dog with you?
Oh, 100%. Ultimate dream would be to own like a van. And fully kitted out, make it into a camper van, and just live out of it for the rest of my life. Me and a dog traveling wherever I want to be.
What you rather to do, plane or car to travel?
As in, I have to leave from here, because I would say some places are too far to drive to. I would love to travel, like America and things like this, but I'd have to fly there,
of course.
So then when I get there, drive. If that helps as an answer. But driving just is better. Some people I met a lot of people traveling. Most of them were not driving. Most people are using public transport, trains and buses to get around. Which to be fair, in lots of countries, it is much better than it is here. And you can get like a special rail card that you can get like almost all of Europe. But that restricts you a lot because you have to go to where the trains stop. You're only going to experience the cities. I love to be really out there, obviously, in the mountains and all of this. And having a car gave me that freedom to get to any point that I wanted to get to find the best views.
So car is your choice.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. And what you do when you are like let's imagine you went to the forest, you just put your camping. That's okay. You already eat. So what you do? Listen to music, reading.
Sometimes reading. Meditate. Yes, definitely. Like just sit next to the river. I would go for walks, explore the area. This place that I said I was staying for like a long time, I would do like day trips. So I would leave my whole camp set up where it was.
Is it?
Yeah. And I would just go. It was about 20-minute hike to get back to where my car was parked. So I would get to my car and then just find somewhere on the map that was not too far, like a big lake or something. I would just drive there for the day, go for a walk, maybe swim in the lake because it's hot, these sorts of things. Just by myself exploring, and then just come back to my bed, which was a very, very tiny tent. It was like a coffin basically. It was so small, but it was good. I could fit it on my
but
my
you
bag.
couldn't move like.
Oh no, I couldn't lay like this or anything. Like no.
How was just straight?
Kind of like, I mean, it had a bit of room. You just kind of adjust. I could lay on my side.
Yeah.
It worked. It was okay. I surprisingly slept pretty good in there. Yeah. It was alright.
So give me your answer about What is life for you?
What is life for me? Is that based on, are you just asking broadly, how do I live my life? Or are you asking about my
What is?
perspective of what life is?
Yes.
Okay. So you're kind of talking about consciousness, I guess, is how I would
Yes.
interpret that. Living beings
Yeah,
have
yeah.
a level of consciousness. Okay, now this podcast is going to get another hour longer, but
Make sure.
yeah, it's okay, of course, I'm joking.
But yes,
Yeah.
what is for you? What is life?
What is life? The question is not. I don't know. It's hard to give an answer. You mean like biology, like living organisms?
Imagine that you have a 5 years kid.
Yes.
In front of you.
Yes.
And he just asks you this.
Okay.
What is life?
Okay. Life is a gift. Okay, that's the short answer.
All right.
There you go.
Okay.
We'll keep it brief.
All right. yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. You consider it married?
I would only get married if it was because it is what my partner wanted. If they did not want to be married,
yeah,
I would not.
Oh, so okay, I got you. Okay.
It's the same with kids as well. I can go either way.
But but you may have if your partner want it.
Yeah.
Oh wow. They want. That's interesting.
I'm easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's too easy. That's great. That's great. Okay, so I'm gonna go for a few questions.
Okay.
And then we are exactly on the end.
Okay.
What is that? So just to go on, if the money was not a big problem for you, where you would be at the moment?
Impossible to predict, but definitely not here.
Not here. Okay, better place.
No problem. I would
better
be,
place.
I don't know. I would be in Thailand or Peru.
Yes.
Or South Africa.
Yeah.
Really.
Where, but yeah, what is the next country that you think like you would like to visit, or where? Yeah.
I mean, the most realistic one soon that would be new for me would be Spain or Portugal.
Spain, yeah,
because they are quite close and I've not been there yet. And they look beautiful. I think for a bigger trip, for more long term, the top of my list of where I would like to go next, I think Southeast Asia. Yeah, I think the places with the biggest cultural difference. Yeah, that's gonna be where you're going to learn the most things. If you make yourself capable of communicating with the people there and just observing the way that people are, and you can realize some things. But even the small differences, like what I experienced in my trip, I wasn't too far, I was still in Europe, but there is a big difference between the way people live in the UK and the people who live in, say, Italy or Greece. Yeah. People who live in the Mediterranean are so much happier. So much happier, all of them. I noticed a very significant, very cut black and white difference from the whole time I was traveling to being on the ferry on the way back to the UK at the very end. Just sitting in the common area where everybody was eating or just chilling and just overhearing the conversations around me of other British people. Yeah. Finally being surrounded by British people again after all this time. That's such a big difference. Okay. So much more negative. It made me quite sad, really, to see to realize how people are in this country. So much more likely to just complain about things for no reason. They enjoy complaining. It's cathartic for them. But it's really just like spreading negative energy.
Got you.
Yeah, everyone, I think when the weather is better, people are happier.
So from all these countries that you mentioned, which one you find like this is the most happiest and which this is the most sad? Not including the UK, of course, but those countries where you went to.
Yeah, in terms of the people that were native to the area, I'd say the Greeks were the happiest.
They're more happiest.
Yeah.
Can be because wine?
can be because of the wine.
Yeah.
It can be because of a lot of things, but it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, the result speaks for itself. That, they lived a much more relaxed lifestyle. They were not so much caring about money and all these things that people care so much about in the more modern Western world where we live. They were just chilling. They cared more about having a good time than about the grind and all this bullshit.
Okay, so the question that has been left for you is, what do you think about abortion?
Okay.
And why?
Freedom of choice.
Freedom of choice.
Yeah.
And why do you think people choose that way?
Because the chances are, if you're even having to debate that maybe you should get an abortion, it's probably because you are not in a good place to be raising a child. And if you didn't go through with it, that kid might not have a good upbringing anyway. So it may be best for the world and for the baby that, I don't know. I have no... I don't have a strong attachment towards the life of a fetus, really. They have no experience. They're not really a person. You've not cut anything off. Life will continue. I don't think it's as deep as people make it.
Great. That's okay. That was the answer.
Okay.
And that was the question.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's your turn to leave a question for my next guest.
Okay. This is a question that I've been just kind of randomly asking people recently. If you want to do something, just do it. Don't think too much. Okay. So to relate to the travel experience. It's a big goal. It's a crazy thing. It's so extreme. It seems impossible to even make it happen because it's such a mad thing that you start to think about making it happen, and it's so overwhelming because there's so many things to think about that it just never actually gets done, and you do nothing because you're focusing on the massive goal. Don't focus on the goal. Focus on how you get there. Focus on the journey. What is a small thing I can do every day that will help me towards this goal? At no point preparing for my trip was I stressed or even rushing about getting anything ready. I timed it almost perfectly. I was always chilling leading up to it, where the last thing that I needed to sort out before I went was done maybe a few days before I left.
Wow.
But it was a very slow and gradual. I just had faith, and it's about just keeping it in mind what you want to do. And every time you have an opportunity to make a decision in life, choose the option that helps you get further towards your goal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's nice. Okay, so now.
Okay.
The question.
Yeah. Question is, to ask them if they have tried meditating and why or why not.
Great.
Yeah.
I take that.
Cool.
So.
Yes.
Thanks so much, and for that conversation we had for this one now, and I expect you to see you next time here, bro. Maybe different topics, maybe the same, right?
Yeah,
bro, give me that. Thanks so much. Yeah, that was great. Okay, guys, this is HDC podcast. We end up here. And well, guys, follow, give some like and subscribe, or all these things. What to
hit
do?
The notification button.
And see you guys next time. Peace.